President Mahama said the economy has been managed criminally.
Yeah,
the criminally managed economy is growing at 5.7.
5.7. And then you say you are going to manage it better. You want to grow below that. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. For the first time, Akufo-Addo has left a size of the economy in terms of economics, quantum terms, 1.2 trillion.
Size of our GDP.
It has never happened in the history of this country. President Mahama left an economy that was growing nominally in terms of nominal GDP, 219 billion, 219 billion. This is what he left for President Akufo-Addo. Akufo-Addo in 8 years has moved that, not around 500 billion, not 600 billion, not 800 billion, not 900 billion, not just 1 trillion, 1.2 trillion. Then again, Akufo-Addo has left you gross international reserves of $8.9 billion sitting down for you. What else do you want to do?
And with all this, they are projecting to grow lower.
To grow less.
But that is a crime. So that is the crime.
If we have time to go through the budget now, there's a lot of child's play. To be honest with you, you see, I shouldn't have had the opportunity to criticize Ato at this time because it is his first budget. He is new in the ministry, although he has served as deputy minister before. But what he did today, there's a lot of policy incoherence. Because he says one thing here, and the other time he says it. Did you hear him say that there's a lot of arrests, and he has inputted in his data about 49 billion cedis as arrests? Then he comes back along the reading to say that these arrests are yet to be audited. Which serious finance minister does this? You don't go to parliament to present arrears figures that are not audited. And mind you, anytime you come as a new government, you will get all sorts of contractors coming to you that, oh, government owes me S amount, government owes me Y amount. You need to take your time, validate, audit the figures, and ascertain the veracity of the cases and the evidence presented to you. If you haven't done that, and it hasn't gone through the give-miss process, it can never be recognized as a liability for government. But here we are. We have a whole finance minister who comes to parliament to present figures that he himself admits are not audited, just to let a government look bad. But interestingly, when he was talking about the gross public debt, you see, he could not add those figures to the gross public debt because these debt figures are stocks. They have been recorded by the Bank of Ghana, the IMF, in December. And so that one was started. He couldn't deal with that. Yet he moved around to say that we owe this amount, we owe road contractors, we owe this. How have you verified this data? Have you audited them? No. And he himself said they have not been audited. Yet he has used that to compute primary balances and putting us in the deficit and all of that. In April, I can bet you, the IMF is coming back for review. And I can tell you most of these figures, they will reverse them. And so I don't understand why the finance minister allows himself to enter into this arena, to present false information, and he knows they are not true. Look at the tax issues he talked about.
So let's get to the tax. Has e-levy been abandoned?
Yes.
He's cancelled e-levy.
I am in full support for the abolition or the cancellation of taxes that may be christened as nuisance taxes. I won't sit here to say that if a tax is nuisance, we should still burden the Ghanaian people. And mind you, President Akufo-Addo did something fantastic. Remember Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta's first budget on 3rd March 2017. Sometimes we forget so quick. In the first budget of President Akufo-Addo, he abolished or removed 17 different taxes in this country. Today, people want to pretend they have forgotten. Never in the history of Ghana have we had a government that has reduced taxes or abolished taxes the way President Akufo-Addo did. In his first budget, 17 different taxes in this country by Ken Ofori-Atta and President Akufo-Addo and the NPP government. Today, Ato Forson subtly sought to create the impression that he is abolishing 6 taxes, but in effect, only 3. And he
get the impression he's abolishing 6.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That was a big lie he told the people of this country, because He said that they are seeking to abolish emissions levy, withholding tax on lottery earnings, VAT on motor vehicle insurance, e-levy, 1.5 withholding tax on export of gold, and then COVID-19 levy. It is true that yes, they are seeking to abolish the COVID-19 levy, which I support. Vice President Bawumia had indicated that the purpose for which the COVID-19 levy was imposed is outlived. So it is better we abolish it. So he talks about that. The 1.5 withholding tax on gold exports. Remember, it was 3%. And government, President Akufo-Addo through Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, reduced it to 1.5%. The 3% was imposed by the previous NDC government. NPP brought it down from 3% to 1%. So effectively a reduction of 1.5%. Today, Ato Forson is seeking to reduce it further, to make it zero. Fantastic. I support it. Then e-levy. Okay? He says that they are going to abolish e-levy, which I also support. Remember, Bawumia had even indicated that there was no sense in e-levy and all of that. But when he says, I will abolish emission levy, Paul, with all due respect, there is nobody in this country who is charged a tax or levy called emissions levy. So something that is not there, why do you say you will abolish?
But we all know about some emissions levy that Parliament discussed before.
Parliament passed the act for the imposition of the emissions levy.
Yes.
And remember, when Bawumia started his campaign and announced that he will abolish the emissions levy, later government came to say that they are no longer implementing the emissions levy. So the emissions levy was never imposed on anybody. There's nobody in this country who can raise a finger to say that I have paid some form of emission.
So even though Parliament passed it, it was never implemented.
Never implemented.
Till the MPP left office.
Till today.
But Ato Forson says he's abandoning it.
You don't understand. That is one of the lies they try to put across Ghanaians. Then two, he says VAT on motor vehicle insurance. As we speak today, there is no VAT on motor vehicle insurance. Not a single person in this country can raise up a finger to say that I have paid motor vehicle insurance. Rather, they are imposing a tax because there is tax exemption on all non-life insurance. Now they are taking away the tax exemption, okay, that President Akufo-Addo placed on all non-life insurance. They are taking it away to let people who are going for non-life insurance to pay. And then they are excluding the motor vehicle insurance. But it was not there. It is not something people pay. Rather, it was not paid together with other things, all the other non-life insurance. You are saying that you're going to impose tax on the non-life insurance, excluding the motor vehicle. But we are saying that, Mr. Minister, there is no VAT as we speak on motor vehicle insurance. So what are you seeking to abolish? That is also another lie that he put out. Then the next thing that has generated controversy is the 10% withholding tax on lotto winnings. You see, Paul, the Income Tax Amendment Act 2023, Act 1096. Okay, the Income Tax Amendment Act 2023, Act 1096, comes with some taxes. In there, we have some taxes that are under the Gaming Commission, and we have another that is under the Ministry of Finance. So we have the betting tax, which is the 10% betting tax, sport betting tax. And then we have the 20% gross gaming tax on gross gaming revenue. And then we have the 10% withholding tax on lotto winnings under the National Lottery Authority. The confusion that Ato Forson created in the budget, either deliberate or he did that unwittingly. If it was deliberate, and I'll come to show you why I think it is deliberate. You know, naturally, Ato Forson has never been in support of the scrapping of the betting tax. He calls it a sin tax, and so we must put it in. He comes to Parliament to read the budget and say, Mr. Speaker, we will abolish the 10% withholding tax on lotto winnings, into brackets betting tax. You are talking about two different things in one sentence. Which of them does he technically mean to abolish? Is he suggesting, as the Minister for Finance, that he doesn't know that there's a difference between the 10% withholding tax on lotto winnings and the 10% sport betting tax? Is that the case? Is the minister saying he doesn't know the difference?
Are there different taxes?
There are two different taxes. There are two different tax handles.
Passed by Parliament separately or at the same time? Or
under one act, but two different lines. So there's a 10% withholding tax on lotto winnings. That is there. And there's a 10% betting tax. The 10% betting tax is what we all know.
As sports betting.
MPP said, Baumia said, we will scrap that. Mahama also said they will scrap.
Yes.
So we were all thinking that if the minister was going to abolish the betting tax, he will be explicit
on it
in saying that we will abolish the 10% sport betting tax. He didn't say that. He went to lay emphasis on the 10% withholding tax on lotto winnings, which is different from the betting tax, and then he puts into bracket betting tax. So he creates a confusion.